On the other hand, if the market went down on a Dow basis, say to 4,000, then gold would appreciate if you use that kind of a ratio. I look at it differently. I've never used ratios because I've never felt that they would repeat themselves. And another thing is we have the United States government manipulating all markets today. Until they stop doing that, you're not going to be able to use charts, ratios, waves, cycles. You can't do it because of the interference in the markets by the United States government. And so I have stuck with the fundamentals. And gold production is falling, has been for some time, and will for some time. That's good for higher prices. The investment factor in gold is great because people question the value of their currencies. That's very, very important. Most people don't think about that. Then on the other hand, historically, if you go back 6,000 years, you will find that gold and silver, at one time or another, or both, have been the ultimate money. And so no matter what fiat currency was floating around in 1348 or in 1260 or in 1980, people, when they see the value of their currency falling, they will buy gold and silver as a store of value, as a method of wealth preservation. And even if gold and silver never move from their current prices, and we had deflation quickly, let's say we didn't have hyperinflation, let's say we just nosedived into deflation, those prices would stay there, but the price of everything else would drop 60 to 90%. So that's why gold in particular, gold and silver, but gold in particular, will hold its value during either inflation or deflation, and in inflationary times, it tends to go up exponentially. Now, in 1980, when gold hit $8.50 an ounce, if you measured official inflation, you're talking about somewhere between $2,400 and $2,700 an ounce for gold. It's not selling there, but it should be. Now, real inflation, because our government lies about the figures, is really $6,700. Now, where do you think it's going to go? I don't know, but I do know this. It's not going down. So you get a safe haven that may appreciate in a big way. And that's a conservative presentation of the realities of currencies, economies, finance, the systemic world financial structure, etc.
Understood. I've got a question from a Marine that's stationed overseas. He's asked me not to advise where he's calling from or IMing from. But he gave me permission to say he is in Europe. The question goes to gold and silver coins. Mr. Chapman, is there any other countries in the world besides the United States that has gold and small denomination gold coins and silver coins that are recognizable by the population? There are people here in Europe, yes, they know, they see the U.S. Coins and they know what the U.S. coins are, but as I've traveled into Iraq and Afghanistan on 2 tours of duty already, I'm finding that some people don't know what an old-fashioned 50-cent piece or an old-fashioned quarter is prior to 1964. Many think that the quarters that are out today are just like the quarters of 1950, and you and I both know that's not true.
Mm-hmm. Well, it may be difficult to deal in junk silver that way, so you would get Austrian Philharmonics, which they might be more familiar with, or you might get Canadian Maple Leaf silver coins or American Eagle coins in the silver variety. And then you have gold Eagles, and you have gold Maple Leafs, and then you have gold Krugerrands and Austrian-Hungarian coins, and then you have British sovereigns, which are approximately 1/5 of an ounce, along with, the sovereign's approximately a quarter of an ounce, and then you have the French roosters, the Swiss franc, and these are all in gold now, and the German mark. You even got the Uruguayan peso, and these are all about 1/5 to 1/4 of an ounce of gold, and so in fact for the last 350 or so years, the militaries of the world have given gold coins to their soldiers and airmen in case they get captured. And we had a story 2 weeks ago right on this station of somebody who IM'd in and said, they sew 4 sovereigns into our jackets, and I had to bail out, and it got me home. And so there's a great deal to be said of having different kinds of coins. And, of course, in Europe, there's a lot of coins which are very recognizable. And those coins are recognizable in America, too. About Iraq, it might be a different story, but I think they know what a British sovereign was.
Yeah, Betty's brigade comes in. Betty comes in and she says in Iraq, what was brought out 2 weeks ago was by a United States Marine that was actually shot down in the Middle East, and the jackets contain 4 British sovereign gold coins, and they're very recognizable all over the Middle East. So thank you, Betty. She wanted to chime in and let you know. I have another IM from the Far East, meaning our Southeast Asia Far East. Mr. Chapman, there is some scuttlebutt that the yuan bond is threatening the United States government. Do you know of anything about that?
The yuan bond?
The yuan bond, the Chinese yuan bond threat. It seems yeah, go ahead.
What they've might attempt to do is to issue loans denominated in yuan, which is their external currency. They have another currency called the renminbi, which is the internal one. And they're sick and tired of taking dollar treasuries, we'll call it, or agencies, as the dollar goes down in value, and there seems to be no end in sight in the profligate spending of the United States government. I mean, the budget deficit is going to be over $2 trillion this year, an astronomical figure. And so if they start issuing bonds in yuan, that's fine. What they really got to do is sell more of their dollars and buy gold. And, they have been buying gold, but not in large amounts. I mean, it makes up about 1% of their foreign exchange, and it should be well over 5 or more. And so the Chinese didn't do what they should have done. And maybe now they will do that. I don't know. But the yuan bond is a threat, but it's a long-term threat. It's not something that's going to turn everything upside down in 5 minutes. Another thing, too, is China's going great guns. You know why? Well, they just injected about $1.5 trillion into their economy. Now, they're going to have a hangover from that, and they can't keep on doing that, and they deliberately reduce the value of their currency in the world market, and have for a long, long time. And if they're going to pursue a yuan bond or buying more gold, they have to accept the increase in value of their currency. And they don't want to do that. They want it both ways. And you can't have it both ways.
Mr. Chapman, the Chinese are noticing even more dangerous developments in the United States, such as ineffective official stimulus packages, unproductive rescue of dead banks, many banks closing on Fridays. Where we see from over here, over 70 banks in the U.S. have closed this year. There seems to be an endless credit derivative covered cost. entirely new programs with staggering price tags, which refuse to disclose all of the dispersed congressional funding that has come out from wasteful stimulus packages. All of this, which not only is resulting in a gargantuan government deficits of the United States, does this not all apply to the risk of the U.S. dollar to bring forth a failure at some point in the near future? And the criminal angle is increasingly discussed in the open. Your input, please.